the implicit method, and there we have shown that we get some pentadiagonal matrix. Okay, so in the last class, what we have shown that implicit method to solve 2D unsteady heat conduction lead to a pentadiagonal matrix, and which is also sparse matrix. Sparse means the other elements in between there will be zeros and some terms. So these are sparse matrices. Okay, and I have told you that these sparse matrices, in case of this 2D problem, they are difficult to solve using what is generally called Gaussian elimination method. So this is a direct method. So the one method which is mostly used is iterative methods. Okay. So iterative methods like Gauss-Seidel or Gauss-Jordan. You must have heard about this. So Gauss-Seidel or Gauss-Jordan methods are generally used to solve such a kind of matrices. Now we'll see how these matrices, what are the, how to get these matrices. For example, you have this matrix, pentadiagonal matrix. How do you get the pentadiagonal matrix? Okay, so how do we get the pentadiagonal matrix? And how different this matrix is compared with 2D matrix? Okay, 1D matrix in 1D case. Okay, so in case of 1D problem, for example, if you have 1D problem, suppose this is your x, uh, suppose this is your x domain, then essentially you divide this into different nodes. Okay, and these nodes, you can have a I indexing. You can say I1, then I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, and I7. So whenever you say like this I, this can be your I minus 1, and this is your I plus 1. That is how we generalize. So I is 4, 4 minus 1, 3, 4 plus 1, 5. Any case you consider I is 2, for example, then I minus 1 is 2 minus 1, 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So I plus 1 is 3. So this is a ij indexing notation. And if you have to count, so this is a count of the nodes is 1, first node, second node, third node, fourth node, fifth node, sixth node, seventh node. So indexing and the count, they are same. Okay, indexing and count are same. In case of 2D, in case of 2D problem, say we are looking at this problem. Okay. Now in this case, there are two directions. So there are two directions. So we have indexing in x direction and we have indexing in y direction. So we index like I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, and maybe the last point nx, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, we have j indexing. So we have j starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to ny. Now in these cases, the nodes nodes have a specific indexes. So this particular node have a index 1 comma 1, I1, J1. For this particular case, you have a specific indexing and you can represent that indexing as 1 comma 2. This is 1 comma sorry, 2 comma 1. This is 2 comma 1 and this is 3 comma 1. This is 4 comma 1. This is 5 comma 1. This is 6 comma 1 and this is nx comma 1. Okay. So what about this point? This point is 1 comma, so j is 2. So 1 2. What about this point? This point is 2 2. What about this point? This point is 3 2. This point is 4 2. This point is 5 2. 5 comma 2. This point is this point is 6 comma 2 and this point is nx comma 2. Okay, this point, this point, this point. So we have this indexing in terms of ij. In terms of ij, are all these indexes are represented like this. So same for other rows, you can also represent them. For this particular case, it will be 1 of 3, 1 3. This will be 2 3. This will be 3 3. This will be 3 4. 2 4 4 of 3 4 3. This will be 5 3, 6 3, and nx 3. Okay. So in these cases, T temperature, for example, temperature you have to represent. So T at this point is T32. At this point T is T42, right? At this point T is T52. So for any ij combination, at this point T is T43. At this point T is 41. Okay. So you see, at this point T43 is there, T42, T32, T52 and T41. And in 1D cases, you could write this as T1, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6. So that when you get the matrix, you used to get the coefficient matrix like this and used to get the column vectors like T1, T1, T2 up to this T7, T7. Okay, up to T7, and that you had this. Now in these cases, uh, we would like to convert this into a single index notations. Okay, rather than having. So what I would I we wish here to do is that rather than talking about these two index notations, we would like to talk in terms of this similar to the cases of 1D cases. We would like to talk in terms of single index notation. So in a single index notation, say for example, this is your first, this is your first node, this is your second node, this is your third node, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18, 19, 20, 21, and likewise. So what I want, in single index notation, I want to represent this as what are the values at this first node T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, T8, T9, like this. Okay, so that I can write a double index notation system into single index notation system. So how I can do this? Okay, so how do I do? Suppose I say the single index notation. So suppose I say single index notation is L, L representing this 1, 2, 3, 4. So suppose that single index notation is L. Suppose that single index notation is L, then I can express in terms of this I plus nx, j minus 1. Okay, j minus 1. So consider any point. Suppose for example 10. So for this to get this L is equals to, so essentially we should get 10 here. L as 10. To get that, what is a I? I is your 3. 3 plus nx. What is your nx? Nx is 7. 7, and j is 2. 2 minus 1. Okay. So essentially we get L 10. So this is a formula to convert ij indexing system into single indexing system. Okay, so this is a formula to give you ij indexing system into single indexing system. So we'll now convert our double indexing system into single indexing system. So for that, what were the equations we obtained in yesterday's class? So there were equations we obtained were like minus gamma and y and ti j minus 1, and this was n plus 1, minus gamma x t I minus 1 comma j n plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 gamma x plus 2 gamma y and tij n plus 1 minus gamma x ti plus 1 t I plus 1 comma j n plus 1 minus gamma y t I j plus 1 n plus 1 tij n. Now we use this single indexing notation. So in terms of single indexing notation, this ij nothing becomes L. Okay, so accordingly we'll get either L minus 1, L minus nx, or L minus L plus 1, L plus nx. So this particular term will become, this particular term, if you use L, L is equals to I plus nx j minus 1, then this particular ij indexing, this ij minus 1 will become I L minus nx, is it? So suppose we are looking at, suppose any I, this is, suppose this is our ij, for example. Suppose we are looking at this ij, then this is I, this is ij minus 1. So whatever whatever the L value is there, and if you subtract nx from that, then you are going to get the value, the T4 or T4. Okay, so this is nothing but T4. Okay, this is nothing but T4. This is nothing but your T10. This is nothing but your T. What is this? T11, like that. Okay, so we wanted to get a generalized system, not like 10 or 11 or only. So we want to convert this ij minus 1 in terms of single index notation. So this comes, this term comes like gamma y t l minus nx, l minus nx, n plus 1 minus, then second term comes this I minus 1 term comes t l minus 1. So whatever l is there, minus 1 of that, and we get this 1 plus 2 gamma x plus 2 gamma y and tl. This become tl, single index. This becomes single index notation, minus gamma x t, that becomes l plus 1, n plus 1, and minus gamma y, that becomes n l plus nx, t l plus nx, n plus n. And this tijn is nothing but tln. Okay, so you can convert this system into the single indexing system, and then now you can have t1, t2, t3. So you can finally express your matrix in the form which I showed you yesterday. Okay, what was that form? That form was looking like, you get a terms gamma y, and then you get some zero terms, and you get the minus gamma x, and then you get central terms 1 plus 2 gamma x plus 2 gamma y, and then again you get the minus gamma x, then 0, and then gamma y. So this is a general form of your matrix, pentadiagonal, and you have TL here, TL starting, and then you can have T1 to TL to finally what are your final N is. Final N is Nx into Ny. Okay, final N is Nx into Ny. Final N is Nx into Ny. So that, and you get, so what we observed is that, so what we observe is that this is a one diagonal. Okay, this is a one diagonal. This is another diagonal, second. This is third, fourth, and fifth. In between third and this fourth and fifth, we have a zeros. First and second, we have a 0. So you see, this matrix have a sparsity. Sparsity means we have some values here, some intermediately, some values, zeros here, some values, and then it is not like the tridiagonal where only you have a subdiagonal, upper diagonal, and lower diagonal values. But we have, with lower diagonal, there is another lower diagonal with these zeros coming in between. So this gives a sparsity. Sparsity means they have distributed everywhere like that. So because of this, suppose you use Gaussian elimination, then what may happen that some zeros may become non-zeros, and it might lead to a problem. So the solution to solve these problems is a iterative technique. Okay, So to solve this, Gaussian elimination is not a good approach. So I'll just write those. To solve above Ax is equals to B system, Gaussian elimination is not an appropriate choice due to the sparsity of the coefficient matrix. Okay. So and second is a direct methods. Direct methods are usually not used in CF in finite volume method, FVM, or any finite difference method or finite element method. Okay, so it is not used in this this techniques, CFD techniques. Okay, so the methods like iterative methods are methods are preferred over direct methods for for their computational time and accuracy. For their computational time, computational time, computational time, for the lesser, you can say lesser computational time and higher accuracy. Okay, and also capability also, it has a capability iterative methods, also iterative methods iterative methods are good in uh, removing the nonlinearities in removing the nonlinearities present in the governing equations present in the governing equations. Okay, so that is how we go for a iterative methods. Okay, so that is it. So what is the fundamental of iterative methods? What do we do in iterative method? So what do we do in iterative method? So I'll just talk about fundamental of iterative methods. Okay. So general or fundamental of iterative method. Okay. So what do you do is, suppose we have this matrix A and we have the solution vector and we have this right hand side entities. Then what do we say that the solution X, uh, we can guess that solution xg, and we can add correction to the solution. So that correction, if correction is correct correction, then we can get the solution. So this is a solution X can be a guess solution, and this can be a corrected correction, or you can say correction of the guess. Okay. So if this correction and the guess solution is added, we can get the exact solution added. So if you substitute this in say the way I'm doing here, so suppose this is X system. So suppose you substitute here. So what do you get? A. I'm just removing those things. You can get xg plus x prime is equals to b. Now if you expand this, you can get xxg plus ax prime, right? B. Okay. So finally, what do you can write? Axg is equals to b minus ax prime. Okay. So you see, this is another again similar form. This is like A matrix, and we have guess, and we have this right hand side, the known values. Okay. So we can have right hand side RG. I can say this is RG. Okay. So this RG, so AXG is equals to RG. We can solve this system and we can get the guess values. I mean, okay, I'm just I'm not interested in guess values. I have already taken guess values, right? So pardon me, I'm just writing here. I'm not interested in guess values. I'm interested in the corrections. Okay, I'm interested in corrections. So I'll solve for correction and guess value. Guess value is this is known value. This is also known value. Okay, so this is known. This is known. This is also known. X prime was not known. X prime is a, this is a guess solution which we assume, for example, 10 number, and then I'm calculating correction. If I add 10 plus this correction, then I can get the solution X. That is what the strategy is. So here we can say that if I have equation for X prime, and I said RG, from this equation we can get X prime. Okay. From this expression we can get X prime. So that is the basic of this iterative method. So what iterative method says, that guess the solution, correct it. Guess the solution, correct it. So guess and correct approach. Iterative methods are guess and corrective approach. You have to guess it, guess and then correct. So you guess it, then use this expression and find out the x prime. But now what is the problem with this? Suppose we use this system, the A, this system solving this A x prime is equals to rg is as complicated as this solving one is as complicated as solving this original system, is as complicated complicated as a capital A. Okay, so what people do in a iterative methods is that instead of using A, which is a coefficient matrix, here people use, so instead of A in the iterative methods, iterative methods, iterative methods, we use A approximation. Okay, A approximation. We use A approximation. So rather than using a actual coefficient matrix, we use A approximate matrix. And how you use, what is the form of, so based on the forms of, on the forms of A approximation, A approx. Okay, so they, based on this, there are variety of iterative methods, variety of iterative methods of iterative. So for example, what is A approximation? So change of approximation you can do by this thing, many techniques or like that. So A approximation, for example, A approx in a one case can be looking like, so suppose your original system A11 A and like that. So you can have the system A11, then A22, A33, and likewise you can have ANN and all other terms 0. Okay, if this is the A approx used in the method called as Gauss-Jordan. This is the method called as Gauss-Jordan iterative method. Jordan iterative method. Suppose A approximation, the used A approximation is A11, A21, A22, and in this manner, uh, I will, let me write third one also so that you will get a good feeling of that. A31, A32, A33, and finally we can have AN1, AN2, AN3, and finally we can have ANN. Okay, and all other elements, rest of the elements, upper elements, they will be zeros. Okay. Yeah. But here there are no zeros. Huh? Here there are numbers. Here there are numbers. So we have this triangular. So this is we have this lower triangular. If you have this type of approximate matrix, then this is typically a very famous method of iterative technique is called as Seidel Gauss-Seidel method. Okay, so in case of Gauss-Seidel method, we get essentially uh, this kind of approximation. Okay, now suppose in this case Gauss-Jordan, if we apply x prime and do on this, and we use say for example we use a approx x prime and you have rg for example, then in that case if you see from this first equation x1 prime is equals to rg divided by a11. Similarly x2 prime will be equals to rg divided by a22, and a n prime xn prime is equals to rg divided by a n n. You see, in case of this method in Gauss-Seidel, the x1 prime would be equals to rg divided by a11, and x2 prime would be equals to rg minus x1 prime a21 x1 prime a21 x1 prime divided by a22. Okay, similarly you can write other terms, and these are the corrections. Okay, these are the corrections. So what is observed in in this, what you can see in all these that we calculate this x prime, and wherever you want to calculate x prime, we are mostly using two entities. Number one is, in calculating these entities, we are using two things. One thing is the rg is nothing but residual. Okay, rg is nothing but residual means what? Suppose we have a system a x g is equals to b. Okay, now this ax is equals to b, so this is nothing but residual rg is equals to right hand side. That is what definition, right hand side minus left hand side. This is nothing but b minus a xg, and already we have shown in our cases this b minus axg is our residual. So everywhere you see, either you are calculating residuals, and these are called as central coefficient. Central coefficient means, suppose we are focusing at 1 x1 1, then what is its coefficient? Coefficient of x1 prime is a11, right? This equation, if you see from this approximate matrix, is looking like a11 x1 prime is equals to rg. So what is the coefficient of x, the point under consideration? The point under consideration is x1. So coefficient is this. So this is a central coefficient. For second case, for example, what is the central coefficient? Central coefficient a. So this is called as central coefficient. Central coefficient. So instead of calculating or instead of storing these matrices in CFD, we use matrix free methods. Okay, we essentially do not we do not we do not we do not construct a approx in CFD codes. Okay, so what do we do is, so we only need we only need to calculate residual. Please remember this. This algorithm is very specific. We need only to calculate residuals. Calculate residuals. Okay. And what is in the residual? Residual means is equals to RHS minus LHS. RHS minus LHS. That is your residual. RHS minus LHS. Okay, that is your residual. So for example, we were looking at the case of our problem. For example, we were looking at our BTCS scheme. So for BTCS scheme, what was our equation we obtained? That was gamma y T I j minus 1, and this was n plus 1 minus gamma x T I minus 1 comma j n plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 gamma x plus 2 gamma y Tij n plus 1 minus gamma x Ti plus 1 comma j n plus 1 minus gamma y Tij plus 1 n plus 1 is equals to Tij n. Now in this case, the residual. Now what is a residual? Now residual is equals to RHS right hand side minus LHS. So what is the right hand side? Right hand side is Tij n minus, all these terms will go here. So minus becomes plus. So gamma y Tij minus 1 n plus 1. This also goes there. So this also goes there. So this is gamma x Ti minus 1 comma j. These are all n plus 1, and then minus 1 plus 2 gamma. You are getting this, right? You should be in a position to do all these residual calculations and all, huh? And then that becomes plus here. So gamma x Ti plus 1 comma j n plus 1 plus gamma y Ti j plus 1 n plus 1. Okay, so this is your residual. And what is the central coefficient? What is the central coefficient? Central coefficient, central coefficient. It should be always AII. Central coefficient is AII. What is AII? AI in this case is this one. Wherever your ij is there, that is your central coefficient. That is your Aij or AI. So that is your AII. So central coefficient will be equals to 1 plus 2 gamma x plus 2 gamma y. Okay. So now in the so these are the things. So what we do is, say for example, the for example Gauss-Jordan method. So in case of Gauss-Jordan method, what we do is we get a solution, x, which will be nothing but our first guess solution, and then x prime. Okay, so x prime. So we know that the and we keep on changing the guesses. So what we are doing actually is, what are the present solution, this present solution will be equals to, so x new solution will be, it keeps on changing, x new solution will be equals to x old plus the x prime. So this is this x new, this this is nothing but uh, this is nothing but xg plus residual rg divided by aii, isn't it? So this, in terms of temperature, for example, suppose we want to know the new temperature value, then this will be essentially written as T old plus residual Rg aii. So to calculate any temperature value, new temperature value, old temperature value plus Rg will be used. So in this particular problem, T ij, Tij, n plus 1, n plus 1, n plus 1, Tij, n plus 1, n plus 1, which will be a new value, will be equals to Tij uh, n plus 1, and I'm writing it again it as a new, because what will happen is that once you are going second loop, third loop, you have to always assign T old, T new is equals to T old. Okay, so there will be always assignment, so we can always update the values of this. So I'm just writing it at T new plus whatever your rij. So this is the rij is over the obtained value. Rij is over this obtained value. Rij is over this obtained value, this value, this rij, this is our rij, this whole value rij, tij, this thing divided by this 1 plus 2 gamma x plus 2 gamma y. This will give you, keep on giving this solution. Okay, so same you can do for the Gauss Seidel also. Same is also done for Gauss Seidel. Here also we essentially calculating residuals only. These are the residuals. These are the residuals. Okay, Rg minus x prime. But this is again residual, because in the Gauss Seidel and Gauss Jordan, going Gauss Jordan and Gauss Seidel, the difference is that whenever you are calculating the second value, the previous value x1 prime will be always known value, currently calculated. So in these cases, in this cases, in this cases, this value will be this calculated value. So first you calculate x1 prime, then to calculate x2 prime, x1 prime is already known from the previous iteration. So this Rg minus A21 x1 prime becomes residual. So this becomes residuals, new residuals. So always residual divided by central coefficient. These terms are coming. So that you have to make sure. In the next class, I will show you the algorithm to solve this problem using this method. We do not use any approximation matrix. We simply use this formula. Okay, and how we got this formula just now I told you in this class. Okay.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, who is speaking?
So I was asking regarding the assignment. Like there was a comment by you, and the time
Yeah,
has been.
please read that comment. It is only first page you have shown. So please correct those as per the comments and show me again. Or if those having correct values, they can start their ANSYS simulations also. And if they are not aware about the governing equation, they can contact their supervisors, maybe their third year seminar supervisor or BTech project supervisors.
So do we need to resubmit the PPT?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay,
It,
sir.
these PPTs are not graded. Huh? There is
Okay,
no grade on this PPT. I just want to make ensure myself that you are solving it correctly. Okay.
okay,
So there is a lot of learning will be there on your part because right now you do not know even what are the primitive variables, but those are essentially Navier-Stokes equations.
yeah,
Yeah, and many of the students are showing me stream vorticity function approach and so forth. But in Fluent, you do not use stream function vorticity formulation. They are all based on primitive variable approach. So at the end of the day, you should know that difference. Okay,
okay,
so I'll just stop the class here. Huh?
okay, sir.
Okay, Ganpati. Yeah.